People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.
Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McLemore.
All right, good evening, and welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring entrepreneurs and women-owned businesses from across the country. I am your host, Kimberly McLemore, and welcome to another night of sharing. With us, we have Julie Foucht, founder and CEO of Julie Foucht Coaching, the art of feminine marketing. When Julie decided she needed to take her coaching business seriously, she hired a high-end coach and learned to market like a man. She doubled, then tripled her income in less than a year, but felt drained, uninspired, and restless. Urged by spirit, she embraced her essential womanness and birthed a new way, the art of feminine marketing. Today, Julie teaches female coaches, teachers, and healers who are frustrated with traditional marketing how to build six-figure businesses through the art of feminine marketing. Julie's clients report having clearer vision of their divine purpose, greater passion for their work, the skills to be attracting the perfect clients, and are being paid well for their gifts. Julie received her coach certification in 2006 from the Coaches Training Institute. She has served on the boards of numerous nonprofits and was named Woman of the Year by the Professional Women's Network of the Monterey Peninsula in 2013. She is married to the love of her life, has 4 children, 2 stepchildren, 2 furry babies, and 7 spoiled grandchildren. So, without further ado, please welcome to my platform, Miss Julie Foucht. Hey, Julie, how are you?
Hi, I'm so excited to be here with you.
Oh, I'm excited too. I've just been really looking forward to this because, first of all, I just love the name of the business, so I can't wait to dive into that. But because it's just so unique. But before we do that, could you just please tell the listeners just a little bit more about who Julie Foucht really is?
Oh, what a great question. I am, the first thing that always pops up for me is I'm a grandma. And I'm a grandma to these amazing little people. But also in that, there's that I'm a grandma in the sense of being one of those wise women in the world. And I know that sounds really braggy, but that's a hard one. And I've come to this place of recognizing that I've been given a channel to wisdom. And in that, and by claiming that, and by acting on that, I can really serve the world in a bigger way than if I kept myself small and acceptable by world standards.
I like that. I love that. The thing that I love what you just said is that basically you have discovered who you are, and being able to share that is a blessing. So what truly inspired you beyond, we all know coming into business is something that's really exciting, but when I was reading and learning more about you, I liked how you talked about in your profile, how you were trying to learn to market like a man, but what else inspired you to go above and beyond that, beside just feeling just disgusted with yourself, even after you became very successful?
Yeah. So what happened is I was on my way to my first six-figure year. So, and I mean, when I say on my way, I was within a few $1,000s of my first six-figure year. I knew I was going to make it that year. It was October. I still had 2 months, and there was no doubt in my mind. And then I was at a stoplight, and I got rear-ended. And it wasn't that first push that did it. It was the second time the guy hit me because, he did the boom, boom.
Right.
Apparently he couldn't see the line of traffic. But what happened is I ended up hurting my back and not being able to work. And so I would get up and do a client call and then go lay on ice for a couple hours. And I couldn't do the 12-hour days that I'd been doing. I was in pain, so I couldn't even put out content because all I could think was, oh my gosh, I need more medicine. I need to go to the chiropractor. And in that space, what happened was a familiar voice started to ring in my ears again. And this was something that when I really started focusing on my business, I had lost a little bit of my connection to source and to my highest self. And this voice was whispering to me, there's a better way. There's a way to do business for women that is life-giving, not life-sucking. There is a way to do business that really allows a woman to be in her right rhythm instead of following a man's rhythm. And giving up the guru formulas for a way that really works. And at the same time that was happening, I had joined a group of 6- and 7-figure leaders in the transformational coaching industry, talking about what was wrong with our industry and how we were going to change it. And woman after woman said, I just gave up my multi-6-figure business because I went into adrenal fatigue. I am stopping my 7-figure business because I had breast cancer. I'm giving up my multiple 6-figure business because if I have to do it one more day, I'm just going to go, walk into the ocean and not come out again.
Wow. And
we were really exploring what that meant. And so when this voice came in and I started sharing, I do, and at this time, my business was called Kick-Ass Biz Coaching. Right? I was very, get it done.
Oh, goodness.
And what I didn't tell people is, sometimes I'd sit there on a coaching call and I'd pull out a tarot card for direction, or I was tapping into source and I was seeing, my clients' angels would come with a message and I'd be like, so what about this? And they'd be like, oh, how did you know to ask me that question? But I never shared any of that, right? I never taught it. I never shared it. And in this group, I had women who were saying, you've got to start sharing that. That's got to be part of what you do, your connection. So source is calling me to a different way of business. My sisters in business are telling me, you've got to bring all of who you are into what you're doing. And my body was like saying, yeah, we're not going to heal unless you do it this way.
Wow.
So that was the starting place. And from there, there were a couple of mentors and teachers who came along that my heart said, you got to study with these people, right? That wasn't a head decision. It was a heart decision. And when I made that heart decision, based on all of that, my business just took off. Wow. And I get to have more fun. I'm doing work that I absolutely love with women that I adore. Oh, and I'm making more money. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot about money.
Oh, wow. what you just said was just very eye-opening. And, but I think what's amazing about the beginning of your story is that it takes something somewhat tragic for us to really reopen and understand what our purpose is in life. And, they have to be hit by this individual, in your vehicle, not once, but twice, sitting in the same line of traffic. It really pushed you over the edge, because I think a part of it is that just being angry because you couldn't do the things that you had pushed yourself so hard to do. And then now you realize that that's not the way to do any type of business. And I think everybody kind of hits that point in life where they're trying to understand who they are, what their real purpose is, because as business owners, we all come out believing that everything we have, everybody needs, and everybody's going to be there, and they're just going to jump right on board, and we're going to be successful overnight. And we all know that's really not the true story. And I find it very interesting how we learn as business owners that we also revamp and reinvent who we are as individuals, because that's
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're a maintenance supervisor for a commercial property, you've had to deal with everything from leaky faucets to flickering light bulbs. But nothing's worse than that ancient boiler that's lived in the building since the day it was built, 50 years ago. It's enough to make anyone lose their cool. That's where Grainger comes in. With industrial-grade products and dependable fast delivery, Grainger can help with any challenge. From worn-out components to everyday necessities. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Because we learn our real purpose in life. So with you embracing your inner part of you, talk about how that transcended into this amazing business called The Art of Feminine Marketing, because the name of itself alone stands out. And where did you come up with that name?
It popped out of my mouth one day, and a lot of how I was actually on a call with one of my mentors, and this is a brilliant guy named Jeffrey Van Dyke, and he has created this really amazing way of marketing that actually is all about calling the right people and repelling the wrong people. So, right, we're all here to serve, however it is we do our work, whether your work is coaching or video or, whatever your work is, we're all here to serve a certain client and a certain subset of the population. So Jeffrey's work is really about creating the language to attract those people and repel the people you're not supposed to work with. And I was on the phone, and Jeffrey is really awesome. So my male gay mentor, and I'm on the phone with him, and we're talking about my work, and I said, so this is different because it's really like the art of the feminine marketing. And he was like, ding, ding, ding.
Right, that's it.
And what I find in this work is that because I have really dedicated myself to being connected to source, God, the universe, whatever you call it, and doing my work through that lens. So I don't do the work from, here's a formula somebody has given me. I must implement this formula in this way. Formulas are important, right? But I always start with my connection to source. And so what I find is a lot of the wisdom that comes out of my mouth comes from my connection to source it ain't stored in my head.
Wow.
It's not there. It comes out from this. And then a lot of my coaching calls I'll record. Or if I do something like this with you, it's recorded. So I can go,
right.
Oh, I've got to go back and capture that and put it in writing somewhere.
Right.
Because it comes through, and that connection, that's where the divine feminine is, and that connection to source, and in that creativity. That's where thought leadership comes from. That's where new ideas and new ways of solving old problems come through, is that connection.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was Albert Einstein. Well, I know it was Albert Einstein, and I'm going to mangle the quote, but he said something like, the problems that exist in the world today can't be solved with the thinking that created them, right? The same thinking. Right. We have to have new ways of thinking. And we can't get that out of our experience, because our experience is the experience.
Right.
We get that from that deep connection with all that is, with source, with that part of us that lives in the spirit world and is able to tap into all that is, versus just us in our little physical bodies,
right,
with whatever we put into the filing cabinets of our head.
Do you find that when you're working with people that they're very scared to dive into that feeling of the inner thought? Because we do all have that. But like you're saying, that most of us aren't taught how to utilize it to our benefit because of maybe sometimes fear. It's almost like having the same dream over and over and over, but you're not understanding why you're having that dream. What is that you do to help people realize what those healing portions are within themselves, to utilize it, to help them, not so much just even in their career, but in their everyday life, be more beneficial for them? Yeah,
that's a really good question. I think that some people come to it with fear. I think there are some, in society, there are some beliefs that have been handed down to us, from different institutions that want to control us, have handed us down these beliefs about not connecting. I was raised Roman Catholic, and at one point was told I shouldn't be reading the Bible myself, but I needed a priest to interpret it for me. So, wow. That, and I don't think that is but that's my experience of it. But we all have some experience of being told not to connect. You're weird, or when I was 7, I lived in a haunted house, and I just completely shut down my connection to spirit because that was so scary. So I think that there is that. So some of what I do is I start people with some guided meditations. Very simple, very easy to start them in that process of the deep listening. I also will tell people to pay attention to coincidence and synchronicities that happen, because those are messages as well. And it doesn't take a lot. And then the other thing that pops up as I'm answering your question is to really start to get in touch with your body. A lot of us are very out of touch with our body and the messages that our body gives. But our body was designed to be the compass to what our soul is directing us to. So we can drop in meditation, or we can listen to our body. And when I told you I hired those mentors, I hired those mentors because of the body response that I had.
Wow.
I also picked the mirrors for my bathroom.
Okay.
I did pick the mirrors in my bathroom because of the body response that I had.
Really?
Because when we moved into this house, we did a huge remodel moving in. We did all 3 bathrooms. And I had made so many decisions, I couldn't make another decision. I was just like, okay, close my eyes, walk down the aisle at Home Depot, let the body choose. My body started tingling. Then I opened my eyes and went, okay, here's the mirrors. And they're perfect. I've told this story a lot.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But really, it's starting, listening to your body. Mm-hmm. We don't want to wait till our body is hurting and to know that this is not the right direction, right? And we can do that by that subtle wisdom of, am I leaning forward or am I leaning back?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree with that. I think that a lot of times we have to have those pain points where we feel like that's the only way we are in control. But the reality is that you're basically telling us we already have the control. It's just learning how to utilize that in a way that's going to benefit you in the proper way. And we do live in a world of conformity, So when you tell somebody to do something different, oh, you're trying to be different, we don't want you to do that. Everybody wants to hold you back instead of allowing you to embrace who you are and what you should be doing that's going to benefit you, because not everybody is the same. And I absolutely agree with everything that you're saying, because I think that, like I said, a lot of us have that. It's just trying to understand how to utilize our divine purpose in the way that we should, without feeling freaked out, because you start to learn more about who you are. And it's scary, when you start to think about, oh, wait a minute, how did I know this? Or where did I get this from? We all have those feelings. Some of them I think deal with it on a higher note where it comes to them more frequently. And then that's when it really gets to the point where you're trying to figure out what is wrong with me. So I think it's amazing having coaches like you that allow people to be human. And then to bring in this womaness part. I think the womaness part is what really interests me the most about this conversation. So as a woman, what are some of the other things that you feel we do or don't do that we should be reaching more into as a woman? And when we're looking into business, as well as our personal selves.
Yeah. So the first thing that pops up for me is this idea of how we work.
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.
Right? So when women entered the marketplace, who did we have as our mentors? Who did we have as our examples? It was men. Mm-hmm. And so we actually came in and we became men in skirts, right? Mm-hmm. Like you look at the 1980s when it really became this big explosion of women entering the workplace. And how did women dress? Narrow pencil skirts, big shoulder pads. We were emulating men.
I remember that clearly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there was the big hair. I don't know, we were even trying to make our heads bigger. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we learned. Now, masculine men and women are different. It's just going to put it out there. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make one or the other more or less important. All of us have masculine and feminine energy, but feminine energy runs differently, and women are designed to run differently. So one of the things I see women doing is they ramp up and then they push real hard. Now think about this. Men are designed to push. The masculine rises. Men are designed to go pow, pow, pow. Women are not. Women are secular. We run on a cycle. Our energy is about deepening and widening. Something that was given to me by another one of my mentors is this idea that the feminine deepens and widens. And so one of the biggest things that I see women doing is they think they have to ramp up and push, push, push. When in reality, if we work within our energy patterns, if we figure out, okay, when am I most productive during the month? When am I less productive? And a hint for that is to follow the moon cycles. This is not my expertise, but it is something that I will watch. So if I'm doing a big launch, if I'm launching a new program or launching, doing a live event, I want my sales period to be during the time of the month when I'm going to be most productive,
right?
Where I'm shining the brightest. And then once I do that, I want to have spaciousness to ramp back down and refill my well, to get a massage, to do some meditation, to make sure I'm out touching Mama Earth. And even on a daily basis, I want to do that, right? So I want to do that daily and monthly, that I'm looking at where are my energy patterns. Now, there's a couple of things that I have learned about myself. There are a couple of times of the year when I don't want to work very hard.
Right.
So I ramp down what I'm doing. Now, that doesn't mean I stop serving clients, but maybe I'm not doing as much promotion, or I'm not doing as many Facebook Lives, whatever it is.
Right.
My activity is more about, this is the time for me to be out in nature. This is the time for me to be listening for new messages. And so that's one of the things that I see women doing. I told you earlier that my cat had been trying to get me to close my computer.
Right.
And stop working. Right. And my cat, he's a little energy barometer for me. And he was telling me I'd worked long enough today and I'd expended enough energy. Because what happens is if we keep going, then we burn ourselves out. So it's like, no, I normally am done with my workday by 3:30 or 4 in the afternoon. But I follow the energy. And sometimes I'll go to 5 or 6 because the energy is there. But I don't do it because somebody says, you're in business, you have to work from 8 to 6.
And I love that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I almost never start at 8. I was going to say I never start at 8, but I had a call with my publisher at 8 o'clock this morning. So that would be a total lie to tell you I never do it. But
oh my goodness! So you actually you're working overtime right now because of me, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, between you and my publisher, I'm just like, this is a long day.
Oh goodness!
But it's fun.
Yeah, but I just love what you're talking about because we do, as women, we're constantly pushing ourselves to move forward, move quickly, move fast because we're trying to prove a point. And I do agree it can be the wrong way. I know for myself, I found myself literally at the end of last year, I hit a wall completely to the point where I even sat back and was like, I don't want to do this anymore. You work so hard to get to a certain point. And then you're trying to figure out what is it that's making yourself so crazy. And then you start to sit back and realize all the things that you're missing in your life. And a part of it is just being able to breathe, because you're trying to build something that you truly believe in as a business owner. And we all go through this process as owners that you do get a point where you have to figure out, is this all worth it? But I think a big part of it is we all believe that what we're doing is definitely worth it, but it's how we're doing it. And the way that you're describing as a woman, as women, what we do and how we react, I feel like you're telling my story over here. I'm like sitting here, oh my gosh, I need to talk to her afterwards because this is that constant thing that I go through over and over and over, trying to understand what is the best way to work. And you're right, it's not always about a time limit, because we're so used to that, because unfortunately, some of us are still working full-time jobs, and you're constantly on that path of, well, you got to work from 8 to 5, or you got to do whatever, 7 to 5 or 8 to 6, whatever the case may be. And especially now that we're teleworking, because of all of the things that are going on around us, it seems like that we're working more, we're doing more, working harder, working longer, and more stressed out, because it's that constant, well, you need to be on the phone, or you need to be in this meeting, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, because it's that fear of people wondering, well, what are you doing behind closed doors?
Yeah. I'll tell you a secret. It's so funny because, my husband is working from home now. Mm-hmm. And so I'll come downstairs at 4:00 and I'll be like, oh, he's going to realize I'm not working that hard. I'm quitting at 4. It's still, I've been doing this from home for 15 years. Mm-hmm. And because he's here now, I still get that creeping in. Oh, he's going to see that how long I took for lunch today. It's oh my gosh. And I just have to laugh at myself because those old stories still run. And that, I think, is part of the work of the feminine, is to really help us replace the old stories, the old beliefs, with what really works for us. And I'll give you one more little refinement of that, is that what works for me might work differently for you. Right. I have summer energy. I have this kind of laid back, let it flow kind of energy. That doesn't mean I don't work a lot, but or I don't get the shizzle done, because I do. But that energy is different. And there are some people who are boom, fast, get it out, boom, there it is. And there are other people who are designed to be more of okay, I'm going to be more of this pace. So we all have our own pace. Right. So within this cycle of when is my high point and my low point, we also have to know what is my pace, not somebody else's. So it is unique to you.
Right. And I believe that. And like I said, we're just so used to dealing with our everyday lives in the way that we've been raised to do, because, we're always told, well, you can't be successful unless you're up at, 3 a.m. doing A, B, C, and D before, the world gets up at normal hours, so it's always that consistency of being told that you can't do something or be successful if you're not doing it this way. But like you're saying, it only works for those where that time frame might be best for them. This may be the best way for you to work if you're up at 3 a.m. in the morning, but it does not necessarily mean it's going to work for everybody else. And and you're teaching people and coaching specifically women, of course. I'm sure you coach some men too, but at the interim, it's really about understanding just who you are personally. And then, as you say, if you don't get connected with your personal self, you're never going to know what's right for you. We'll always continue to stay on that same path that really isn't working, but then you're wondering why you're beating yourself up every other day, or you're falling out, trying to figure out, well, why is this not working? And it's because it's just learning the process of knowing that you are a human being, and you need to understand what works mainly for the success that you're looking for. So,
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm just enjoying having this conversation, because a lot of people don't want to be honest. We talk about balancing life, but this isn't about balancing life. This is about knowing who you are. So it's a huge difference, I believe.
Yes, well put. And the way we get to that knowledge is by that connection, connecting with our highest self, our divine feminine self. And that's where the true knowledge of who we are and how we're meant to work and what we're meant to do in the world, that's where it all comes from.
Wow, I love it. Oh, we could just keep talking and keep talking. But
I know.
I'm like, oh my gosh. And like, I'm sitting here like, I'm having my own personal thing going on over here. So, but we know. Nice. I mean, it's just great. Like I said, it's great to be able to connect to, you, Julie, because you do have an understanding. And sometimes as women, we sometimes do have that fear of not being able to bring that sort of communication out and talking about what are we really feeling on the inside? We have conversations, with other women, but it's when you start to talk about, like I said, sometimes talk about the defined purpose of who you are and really having those inner thoughts, and you're trying to figure out where are they coming from and how to work that. It's hard to communicate that with other people because then, like you said, you are looked at as being different. And we live in a world of, when people become different, they're just like, they're kind of casted out. Still in this day and age, it's hard for people sometimes to deal with that. So, I really appreciate you being honest and open about the reality of how we are different as men and women. And it's okay, excuse me, to be that way. But at the same time, you still need to be able to learn about what's going to works best for you to be in your professional life as well as in your personal life. But before we let this show come to an end, I have a couple more questions. So we have many women who are listening right now and just many people who want to be or aspiring to be an entrepreneur. What piece of advice would you give them when it comes to becoming an entrepreneur?
This is something that may sound self-serving, but it's really been one of the hugest keys to my success is that find a mentor. Hire a coach, find a mentor. Don't get chintzy. The one time I decided to hire somebody over price, it was a big mistake. So hire the best mentor that you can and let your body tell you who that person is. And I can't emphasize how important that is. It'll skyrocket your business every time, every single time.
And I agree with that. So basically what you're saying is that if you have that feeling of, this isn't going to work for me, then you don't go that direction. Because there's a lot of coaches out there that will tell you how fantastic they are and how great the things they can do for you. And your whole world's going to change overnight. And then, you feel like you're trying to trust them, but then that instinct. So you're saying basically listen to your instincts. Yeah. And because a lot of times we won't do that because we want to be successful. And the biggest problem, like I said, the biggest mistake people make is that when they look at the money sometimes, or when they think that it's going to benefit them overnight, they're going to say, yes, I'm going to do this now. And then they get very disappointed. I think we have all gone through that process at one point in our lives when it comes to trying to find a coach. So I think that is great information to give to somebody who's new in business, because we know what we know, but we don't know it all. So I agree with that.
And it's about having somebody to help you to look outside of your fishbowl and look in. And I do want to say that when you hire that person, you may feel fear. That's perfectly normal.
Okay.
But it also has to feel like the right person. So don't let fear stop you. Don't let money make the decision for you. Trust your heart and your gut to make the right decision.
Perfect. So, Julie, could you tell everybody how they can get a hold of you? Because I think that, there are many individuals who are listening now who definitely would love to reach out to you and learn more about who you are, and then, of course, who they are, so that they can continue to be successful in what they're doing.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I have a Facebook group. My team and I run a Facebook group called Feminine Marketing Magic, and you can reach out there. You can also go to my website, which is juliefoucht.com. Foucht has a T on the end, so FOUCHT.com, and download the Art of Feminine Marketing Guidebook. And in 6 weeks, 2 months? I don't know. Where are we? We're in April. We're in May.
No, we're in May now. We're in May.
We're in May. In July, the first second week of July, my new book is coming out, which
Awesome.
is Love-Based Feminine Marketing. So I'm super excited about that, and people will get a lot of information there. So any of those platforms, you can reach me. I love the Facebook group. We do a lot in there. We do challenges. We do trainings. I introduce you to some of the peeps who have really been important to me. So I have other experts in there giving their wisdom as well. So come out and play with us.
Absolutely. Sounds like a plan. So you guys have heard it live here from Julie Foucht. She is an amazing coach, and she is the owner of this amazing business called The Art of Feminine Marketing. So if you are truly interested in learning about who you are and you really want to figure out how you can move forward in your business, and as well as personally, I think this will be an amazing, good contact and person to be with and learn, like she said, from others about who you need to be in order to be better. So again, I thank you, Julie, for coming on to the show tonight. And I'll let you go so you can relax and enjoy the rest of your evening with your family. And we have definitely overworked your normal hours today. Again, we appreciate you. And looking forward to talking to you more, because I think this is very needed, and would like to definitely get you more connected to with some of my people and clients. I think they could definitely use that as well. But for everyone else, we are here every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You all know that iHeartRadio is our main source to listen to, and we have Spotify, but iHeart is our number one platform. We are trying to, here at WSBI, get up to 10,000 listeners versus our 5,000. So we're growing, and we definitely would need everyone's help to do that. And in order to do that, we all would love for everybody to subscribe, like, or become a follower. And of course, any donations would be absolutely beneficial for our Resource for Success podcast, because we do take 20% of those earnings, and then we actually put them in two different entities for our, what we call our Purple and Pink fundraising, throwback fundraiser that we have. For most people don't know that I'm actually, as well, I was a Zumba instructor. So I've collaborated with another organization called Move with T, who is another amazing dance fitness instructor, and Zumba instructor. And for the third year, we're preparing to do our throwback fundraiser so that we can support our pink and purple. And if you don't know what the pink means, it's our breast cancer awareness groups, and the purple is for domestic violence groups or organizations within our own community here in the Virginia area or in the Washington, D.C. metro area. So we really do appreciate everything that we get. So people need to understand that everything that I'm doing on this end that most people don't even know about is truly for those who are in need. Being that domestic violence is very close to my heart because I am a survivor, I'm always looking to reach out to help any organization who is trying to do something beneficial for our women and our children, and of course, as well as our men who are in need from dealing with domestic violence. So please go to my website at www.wsbillc.com, review it, learn more about our fundraising events, and please donate as you please, at your will, and whatever amount feels comfortable for you. We really appreciate it. If you would like to do any advertising or sponsorship, reach out to me as well. And for those who don't remember who my name is Kimberly McLemore. And again, I appreciate you coming on to the show this evening, Ms. Foucht. And for everyone else, you have a wonderful evening. We'll talk to you next week. Good night.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.